Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with fabulous concert programs number, 88. Yeah, 88 of these suckers. Concert programs that you will never hear in concert, but that you can enjoy in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And today we begin our cycle of symphonies by Charles Tournemire, the iconoclastic French organist / composer who died in the 1930s, around 1939 actually, and who wrote 8 really fascinating symphonies, all of which have been recorded, although some of them need some better performances. But you'll be able to get a sense of them. That's the important thing. And they're fascinating works. And I started this particular series because I wanted to explore in concert form works for organ and orchestra, of which there are really quite a few, most of which are shamefully neglected. And so I thought, well, I plugged a Tournemire symphony into this series, and so I said to myself, a lot of his symphonies ask for an organ. Why not do a whole Tournemire cycle? So that's what we're going to do. I really believe this guy deserves far more attention than he gets. I did a little talk on his 3rd symphony, the Moscow, which is saturated by the sounds of Russian liturgical music and bells, and it's a gorgeous work. And those of you who saw the video and then went and listened to the music came back with comments like, wow, this is gorgeous, it's fabulous. And yes, it is. And he wrote quite a bit more. He's a symphonist in the Franck dandy school. He was a student of César Franck, and an organist and all that stuff. So you get that kind of chromatic sludge technique, but he wasn't just a chromatic sludge composer, as, for example, Dandy kind of sort of was. I mean, his style is bigger than that, more interesting, more open to modernist influences, even though he was by no means a modernist. He was horrified by a lot of contemporary music, but he also learned from it. And that's what makes him so interesting. He was able to absorb it into his style, even while he despised a lot of like Mahler and Stravinsky and whatnot. He was fascinated by their orchestration, by some of the things that they did. So Tournemire is a really, really interesting character. And I'm not doing these symphonies in numerical order. The first one is, again, it's one of those organ and orchestra programs. So it works both ways. It begins with his Symphony No. 4, which is a very difficult work to program because it requires a full organ. In fact, there's a big solo in the middle section, but it's only about 20 minutes long, and technically it's in like 5 movements or something, but it's really a single movement. It's played in a single continuous span, about 20 minutes long. And it has a natural ABA form because you've got this beautiful orchestral introduction, which you might call, and then a central slow movement for organ, principally. It's an organ solo with orchestral interjections, sort of permeated with the sound of bells. The sound of bells haunted Tournemire. It's a leitmotif in his symphonic works. It's really beautiful. Then there's this really cool, spooky march, which has wonderful writing for tam-tam and bass drum. Oh, it's wonderful. And then a soft ending. So what the heck do you do with it? Well, you put it first on the program. It's like a big overture. It's not a heck of a lot longer than Leonora No. 3, for example, or the Sibelius 7th. It's about the same as that. So it makes a wonderful concert opener. And the only recording, fortunately it's quite a good one, is with Antonio de Almeida and the Moscow Symphony on Marco Polo, featuring my tam-tam, because I donated the percussion section to that orchestra, or at least most of it. There's cymbals and tam-tam and triangle and whatnot. And so you could hear one of my tam-tams. It's a really good sounding one. In this particular performance, I just love it. So it's a gorgeous work, well worth hearing, and it won't take you too much time. But then what do you do with the rest of the program? Well, I wanted to follow up on the theme of organ and orchestra. So next comes Icelandic composer Jan Leifs, his organ concerto, which is insane. It's another piece about 20 minutes long in a single movement. It's supposed to be based on Icelandic folk music. It kind of sounds like, that movie, The Children of the Damned, when they invade this church and like lean on all the keys of the organ at once and the whole edifice starts to vibrate. Well, that's what it sounds like. It has the sledgehammer from Mahler's Sixth Symphony in it. I mean, it's a gnarly, exciting, pounding, primal piece of red meat. I mean, that's what it is. So if you like red meat with your organ music served raw, then you're going to love the Leifs Organ Concerto. I mean, it may send people screaming from the hall. I don't know. I don't really care because we're home. We can do whatever we want, but it's fun. It's fun. If you've got a great sound system, get that BIS recording of this. Again, there's only one. Crank it up and drive your neighbors crazy. Then we have intermission, and because after intermission we have to have a reason for people to actually show up and attend the concert, we're going to do the Saint-Saëns Organ Symphony. A wonderful opportunity to put this iconic work for organ and orchestra in a completely different context than one in which we usually hear it. And it, of course, makes a fabulous second half piece. Everyone's going to love it. The two people remaining in the hall will be on their feet at the end. And I think you're going to have a really good time with it, too. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.